Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, we have a very special guest that is going to be giving us a lot of tasty information about the next Bitcoin conference that is going to be in Las Vegas. Guys, this thing is going to be absolutely massive. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to bring on our guest, Mr. Sean Hagan. What's going on, brother?
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I've actually ran into Sean and have seen him actually off and on every single Bitcoin conference that I've been to pretty much. And finally we got more connected. We got in the Telegram like most of us crypto bros and gals do. we end up in the Telegram communicating, and Sean was actually helping out our good friend Da Vinci and Mr. M Maurizio kind of navigate the conferences recently. And so it was really good meeting you and knowing about what you do. So let my audience know exactly what you do and how you've been working with the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was nice to meet you in person for the first time in MENA at our event in Abu Dhabi. So it was a
Yes.
pleasure to finally connect IRL. But yeah, I mean, what I do with the conference is I kind of help tackle communities and influencers, and just trying to engage with the crypto community, the Bitcoin community, and make sure they're aware of what's going on and kind of this community that we're building of our own, and trying to make sure that people understand that they can go through people like you who lead a community, your followers here, and they can use something like Code Dano and not have to pay full price, right? We do the same thing with
Yeah,
Bitcoin
yeah.
meetups, Telegram groups. We want to make sure that it's people are getting the best deal possible, and they're being able to experience what we've built at an affordable price.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. And so that actually makes it really more of an easier onboarding process for someone that is wanting to get into Bitcoin. And we're just kind of talking off camera that I think that even if you don't even own Bitcoin yet, I think a Bitcoin conference is something really cool to go to because it's very eye opening. You kind of get to see the community at large. You get to see who's who are the people who are adopting it, who are the big players. Recently in Nashville, we had president, now for President-elect Donald Trump, before he was elected president, speaking, and it was huge. I mean, it was a madhouse. It was almost like a Trump rally. so.
Yep.
So the Bitcoin conferences are doing some pretty amazing stuff. So it's cool that you guys are doing this and giving my community an opportunity to get a discount on these tickets, because I tell you this, now this will be my fourth Bitcoin conference, and every single time I've gone, I've learned so much, and it's gotten me even more bullish on Bitcoin. Just feeling the energy of the community and what the possibilities are for the future. And I think it's just amazing. So I know you probably feel the same. That's why you probably started, working these conferences, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you touched on it too. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to work with creators, especially like you, where you have part of your audience is devout people that have been in the space for a long time, and then you also have a ton of really great educational content that I'm sure a lot of entry level folks are listening to, right? And I think the Bitcoin conference is a place where we're very intentional about making sure that there's something for everybody, right? I mean, you just
Yeah.
mentioned it. You've been in this space for longer than I have, and I've been in this space for quite a while. And every time I show up to a conference, I leave thinking, "Oh my goodness, I know less than half of as much as I thought I did about this space." I mean, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And there's institutional leaders coming from investment firms and traditional finance. There's mining companies. There's politicians now. That Bitcoin's becoming more on the global stage, and then it all the way branches down into technical talks and technical breakouts and groups.
Yeah.
We can have core developers talking, and we have hackathons. So it can get as big picture all the way down to as granular as you'd like. And there's going to be something for everybody to learn at the Bitcoin conference in a very approachable way too.
Yeah, yeah, you touched on a lot of really great points there. It's just there's kind of a little bit of everything. If you really want to get full techie, get into the mining, get into all that stuff, or you just want to learn just the basic fundamentals of just how to just buy and hold and learn about the long term prospects of what Bitcoin can do. It's kind of got a package deal for everyone. If you're into the conferences where you like to sit in and listen to all the talks and listen to all the people speak, and there's plenty of that, and there's multi stages. So yeah, it's really cool. I think you guys have done a really great job so far with keeping that momentum, and yeah, so it's really cool. But the one of the things that we were actually talking, off camera when we were on a call, I mentioned how Bitcoiners are historically maxis. When you're really into Bitcoin, you don't really like dabble with too much. And so that's always been the kind of the running joke was like, it's just Bitcoin only. But I've noticed this kind of a more friendly view on the altcoin space and what they've been able to do with DeFi, because obviously DeFi is huge. The smart contracts being a thing and the implementations of all these different layers to be able to do DeFi. I think Bitcoin now, as we know, is going into the DeFi space. And so now there's all this Bitcoin DeFi protocol stuff happening, all these things that are going to build adoption through Bitcoin DeFi. So I've noticed that there's kind of this like switch between this maximalist view and making Bitcoin kind of grow more. So I don't know. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what you're picking up on is, I think the definition of what it even means to be a Bitcoin maximalist is just kind of radically changed over the past year and a half. I mean, I think back to when ordinals got launched, right? And obviously
Yeah, yeah.
we've had color coins and counterparty tokens for a while on Bitcoin, but they never really found traction for whatever reason, whether
Yeah.
that's usability or just kind of like right place, right time kind of thing. But now we have BRC20s and then kind of the follow up to that runes, and we have ordinals, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
on Bitcoin, right? And I think that it's one of those things where Bitcoin maximalists still fervently believe that Bitcoin is the truth and kind of everything else is to some degree noise. But the
Yeah.
question now has kind of become, what can we learn from what's been experimented on other chains? And in what ways is that advantageous to Bitcoin, right? And I think one of the cool
Yeah.
things about Bitcoin is the base layer, it's never changing, right? I mean, like Michael Saylor talks about this all the time. Like one of the more advantageous, characteristics of Bitcoin is the fact that it's remained relatively unchanged for so long, and it's
Mm-hmm.
slow and it's steady and it's consistent.
Yeah.
But then that, it's still being the apex predator of money. People are going to want to do things, and I think it's going to naturally cannibalize other verticals if it truly is an apex predator. And so I think the only way for both of those realities to be true, where the base layer is unchanged and it continues to be an apex predator, is you're going to have these different layers to it, kind of similar to the Lightning Network and similar to kind of like ordinal theory and runes. And so
Yeah.
you're going to kind of scale on top of it. And I think that eventually Bitcoin just kind of eats everything, and other blockchains will they'll either become wise and say, we're a Bitcoin layer two, and find a way to do that. I think that's what Cardano looks like they're trying to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
Solana's doing the same thing. They're adopting a lot of wrapped versions of Bitcoin and it's settlement on Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that, look, I think Bitcoin maximalism can still be Bitcoin maximalism when you think that, Bitcoin is the truth, and you should be responsible with these things. I mean, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
want to just be all of a sudden laissez-faire with everything. But I think there's a lot of cool use cases, and people like to have fun on chain, and that's not going to stop, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I don't speak for the organization. We're definitely Bitcoin maxis, but I think that what that means to be a Bitcoin maxi has softened, because these things are happening on Bitcoin. If you're doing it on Bitcoin, how can you say you're not a maxi?
Exactly. And that's what I love. And that's kind of the sentiment that I felt going to these most recent conferences. I was like, okay, it's feeling fun. And they're adopting the fun nature of what even I think maybe Bitcoin in its olden days was. It was like this small community, the forum based. It was like very niched. Not very many people knew about it. It was a meme in its own self, in its own right, in its origin. And it's really cool that it's like now it's kind of starting to be like this old wise, crypto to kind of say, hey guys, I remember I was a meme too, but now let's. Yeah, so it's really cool. Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, that you do perfect explanation of how the sentiment has kind of switched, and I was feeling that. So you broke it down perfectly. That's amazing. So is there anything else my community
Mhm.
would you would think that they need to know about before kind of getting ready to go to this conference? So we know. So we I don't think we mentioned it was, or I mentioned at the beginning it was in Las Vegas. So we covered that. But yeah, elaborate on a little bit to get people ready to get to the conference.
Yeah, look, here's my, for lack of better terms, an elevator pitch. I mean, the Bitcoin conference is unlike any other conference. I mean, you can meet some insane people just walking around, right? I mean, everyone that shows up, speakers, unless they need Secret Service or something, odds are,
Yeah,
they're gonna be cool talking to you and answering your questions. It's this crazy blend of like, you see these people that were around, actually helping create Bitcoin, and they'll just be walking through the concourse and they'll stop and talk to you for 5 minutes. And then there's other people that are plebs just like you, and you get to make these connections and meet at side events and
yeah,
go to the parties at night and do fun stuff with them. And you kind of build a community off of that as well. So it's this crazy blend that just has this magic that's unlike any other event. And this year we're bringing it to
yeah.
Las Vegas. We're expecting, somewhere between 30 and 40,000 people to be there.
Oh man,
And
it's gonna be
the
wild.
energy already is insane. I mean, we look at the ticket flow every day, and I'm just kind of scratching my head of, how are we going to fit this many people in the Venetian? So it's in the Venetian,
Okay.
which is it's a casino and a convention center, and they have a hotel. So if you're looking to book a hotel right now, I'd recommend staying at the Venetian because they're just going to be on site.
Yeah.
And
Very
don't forget to use
convenient.
code Dano for your tickets. It's gonna be the cheapest
Yes.
price you're ever gonna get. Ticket prices for our event, we really like to reward early adopters in true Bitcoin fashion. So every couple of weeks, the price will go up. We're very
Yeah.
upfront about that. So if you're thinking about going, try to commit early, and the best possible price you're ever gonna get is if you buy early and you use code Dano.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfect. Yeah, and I think the festival pass, if I'm looking right now, it's 377. Like, man, let me share my screen really quick, and then I think it'll just pop right up. Let me see. Bitcoin conference, and we'll just pop that up. Yeah, so right now, festival pass 377, industry pass is 1,260, and then we got the whale pass, which is 7,000. So if you're getting the whale pass, you're getting a really nice discount on that using my code. So make sure you
And the
guys
whale pass
are.
in particular will likely have substantial price increases.
Yeah,
It's one
yeah,
of those things where we wanted to maintain a premium experience, and we're already kind of worried about general capacity because so many people are buying tickets right now. It's not going to be packed and overcrowded. I mean, like we will cut it off before it harms the experience. Don't worry about that. But
yeah, yeah.
one of the things we have to do that is we got to raise ticket prices. So buy now. I mean, for Nashville, the whale pass ended up being 20 grand before the event.
Man,
So if
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want to pay
It's
20
up
grand,
there.
you should probably go ahead and buy it now with code Dano.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, well, Sean, thank you so much. You really broke down exactly what I wanted anyone who was interested in the Bitcoin conference to know. And it was just a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, I should just have you come on the channel during one of the live streams and just have a chat, just,
Awesome. I'd love
you know,
to. I absolutely
yeah.
love to. And just to the audience here, you guys are part of a really special community here on this channel, and it's great content. And I'm very fortunate to be on the show. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, no problem. And it's my pleasure. And you have a good rest of the day, man.